Hi guys, Bomber here. Welcome back to the channel, and today I'll be showing you another deck to farm Grandmaster difficulty into single player mode, and today will be a Pocchi deck, which I like to call the War Pocchi. So, the main focus of this deck, as the name suggests, is war cards, and in particular the Catapult card. So, our first card to search for is Catapult, and try to buy as much as possible of that card so that we can have a bunch of them onto the board, and then we can buy the Benediction from our bank and hopefully redraw it more time per turn, so that each Benediction translates into 3 attack or more if we have more catapults into play, and so we can actually manage to OTK our opponent. As you can see, the Catapult is a mid-cost card, and instead the Benediction is a very high cost card. And so for that reason we need to have a bunch of economy going, and so we run 2 copies of Loan to actually help us grab the Benediction faster, and also 2 copies of Bunker, because it's a very reliable source of economy if it sticks on board, but sometimes our opponent will always try to kill her as fast as possible. If he does not manage to kill it, it's very good, but all the times it will be not the case. And so for that reason it's a very good card combined with Benediction, because we can activate her on our turn before our opponent can do anything about it, the Bunker. And so trying to draw the Benediction while the Bunker and the Catapult are on play will translate into a bunch of damage and a bunch of economy. And since we will be gaining such amount of goals, we also run 2 copies of Synod, because then we can use that gold in excess we have to grab some more cards, hopefully Benediction, so that we can increase our chances to draw the Benediction and actually pull off the combo faster. And if not, we can always try to go infinite, thanks to the Synod, and we'll do it faster. And the infinite is achieved when we have 10 coins in hand and we have at least 2 Vespitole cards that cycles, and so we'll be always redrawing the other card from our deck, and so the card will be Benediction. And if we have only 1 Catapult on play, that will be lethal, because we can play Benediction infinite times, and so that will be 3 damage per turns per Benediction played every time. In our first match we are up against Raktaban, and it starts pretty passive with a Lantern Scroll and a Song of Spring. And so the first card to search for is Bunker, because we actually see that our opponent does not have a simple way to clear the Bunker. And well, he has a way by playing the Song of Spring and gaining +1 magic, but it's an AI, and so he will not do the play. And so right now we can go ahead and play a Catapult to actually start putting some pressure onto the board. And then also grab a Loan, as we can play the Benediction very fast, and so we'll gain a bunch of gold thanks to the Bunker, and also get 3 damage in thanks to the Catapult. And that's the main combo of the deck. So we actually redrew the Benediction, and that's pretty nice, because we actually have, as you can see, a very big amount of gold, and it's only turn 2, and also we dealt a bunch of damage to our opponent. Right now we'll wait to grab the Benediction, because we do not have any allies on play, and so that will be a wasted Benediction. But right now, since we have a Catapult, we'll go ahead and play 1 Benediction, the one which is cheaper, and then also grab a Loan and the other Benediction, and hopefully we'll be assured to redraw a bunch of Benedictions. But we only draw 1, and so that's fine. And also we did not draw the Bunker, so that we could have gained a bunch of gold. So right now our opponent clears the Catapult, but that's fine. And right now you see that a Synod, and in fact a Synod restocked, would be very nice, because we have a very big amount of gold, and if not we could always generate a bunch thanks to the Bunker. And so the Synod would greatly increase our chances to draw Vespitole cards, because we can buy a bunch of them. So right now we'll first of all grab a Loan to actually be able to play the Catapult without playing any coins, because as I explained, the more coins we have in hand, the more our chances increases to draw a Vespitole card and not a coin, which are bad. And so right now we'll play a Catapult and start by playing the first Benediction. Then we'll play also the second one, and always play the card which cycles first, and not the Loan, for example, because the Benediction does something when played, and so the more times you play it, the better it is. Instead, the Loan, when played once, it sticks on board and you can't do anything with it anymore. And so first of all, play the cards which cycles and the one that does the better thing first. So right now we'll play a Synod just to increase the size of our hand and hopefully redraw some Benedictions. So right now we have 2 Catapults on board, and you can see that each Benediction is 6 damages per turn, and also we have gained a bunch of gold thanks to the banker because it's luckily on board. And so right now we'll go ahead and try to go for the infinite, and so we'll not play the coins, we'll not be redrawing the 3 cards in our next turn because our hand is already full, and by full I mean if we have 4 or more cards in hand, so you see that we do not draw the cards. But it's fine because we can always try to grab a bunker and hopefully a Benediction. And that's not the case, but we'll play a Catapult to just be lucky enough to draw the Benediction, and that's very lucky for us. And so right now we'll redraw another Benediction, and so right now you see that each Benediction is 9 damages, and with the Benediction we'll buy from our bank that will be lethal. And so, good game. Now, in our second match we are up against Zalazir, and as you can see, our opponent does not have a way to answer our banker first turn, and so we'll another time go ahead and play the bunker to actually try and get a lead into the economy the faster we can. And so right now we'll also grab a Benediction to actually gain some more gold and pass the turn. So now we'll grab a Catapult from our bank, and that was a misplay because I clicked too much and I decreased my chances to draw a banker, which is the other card into our deck. Now I'll go ahead and play another Catapult and try to grow up the numbers of Catapult we have in our deck so that we can actually pull off a great Benediction when we have all of them into play. And so right now, since we redrawn the Benediction, we can go ahead and grab a Loan and play another Catapult and then play the Benediction so that it will be 6 damages and that will be enough to clear the Underworld Barge. So right now we redrew another Benediction so that we can also clear the Conjured Warrior. And we'll also grab another Benediction so that we can have, I think, 3 Benedictions into our deck, and that's very nice. So right now we can't do anything, and so we'll pass. Also you see that the Warding Sickle is pretty useless because the Catapult ignores intercepts, and so that's very nice. So right now we'll play a Loan just to be able to redraw a card, and hopefully that will be a Benediction, and it is. So we'll play the Benediction first, and then play the Synod just to redraw a card, and it's not a Benediction, that's fine. And now we'll also redraw another time to hopefully draw the Benediction, and I committed too much because you can see that if we draw the Benediction that will be lethal, and so it's fine to search for lethal when you are close to winning. But if you do not manage to do the lethal, that's also fine. So right now I think it's lethal, not yet, by 2. And we'll pass. As we can't do anything, we could draw the Synod so that that will have drawn a card for us, but that's not necessary, and now it's GG. In our third and final match we are up against Atazin, and so as you can see right now we can't start by playing the bunker because our opponent actually has a way to clear the bunker, and so that's not a good move. Instead we'll start with a Catapult so that he can't clear it, but he has a Skull, so that's fine. And he will clear it, but the Catapult is much more aggressive and it's much more threatening because our opponent will not have an easy way to clear it. And so right now we'll pass, as we can't do anything really. So right now we'll play the Catapult and also play the Loan so that we can play the Benediction and hopefully clear a bit of the board so that it will not gain too much of a lead. And we'll also grab a Synod to actually increase our chances to draw a card we actually want into our bank. So right now he clears the Catapult, and that's fine. we'll grab another. So we'll grab another Catapult, and luckily enough we drew a Benediction so that we can clear the Gold Banner and the Heart of God, so that he will not grow a bigger economy. So right now we'll play the Benediction to clear the Heart of God, and we'll pass. Hopefully we'll be lucky enough to grab the bunker and activate it with the Benediction. And we can if we activate one of our coins, but we do not, and so we'll play the Loan to grab the bunker, and then the Benediction so that we can get back a bunch of gold, and then play also the other Benediction so that the Catapult and the bunker will activate, so a bunch of gold and some attacks. So right now we can't do anything, and so we'll pass. We can't still do anything, but we are lucky enough to proc our coin, and so we'll grab a bunker and pass the turn. Because if it does not get a skull or a magic from the Heart of God, the bunker would have activated, but we were unlucky. Now we'll pass since we can't do anything. So right now it's a very good turn, because we can go with the bunker and play the Benediction so that we can get a bunch of gold, and then play the Catapult so that we can, if we draw the Benediction, every Benediction will be also 3 attacks thanks to the Catapult. Now we'll grab the Loan to get another Loan, and so increase the size of our hand. Now grab another Catapult, and we were unlucky since we do not draw the Benediction, but that's fine. So another Loan, and finally a Benediction, and we'll play that. So right now you see that the bunker gave us a very good lead, because we gained 8 gold, I think, from that move. And so I can't wait by not playing the coins and trying to go to the infinite, because we'll be losing 6 gold thanks to the Loan. But I'm confident that the Synod will restock a Loan or something like that, and so that we can sustain our economy. And so I'll try to go for the infinite. That's a risky move, but we'll try. So right now we'll grab a bunker because we need the economy, and we do not redraw the Benediction, but that's fine. We'll give another shot with the Catapult, and it will draw a Catapult, but still not the Benediction. And so right now we'll change our plan and don't try to go for the infinite this time. So our opponent clears our board, and it also is pretty threatening. So we need to find a way to solve that problem. So we draw some cards, and finally a Benediction with 2 banker on play, and so you see that we gained a bunch of gold. Now we'll play another Benediction so that we can still play a bunch of gold, and also a Loan to try and draw some cards, and luckily enough it's another Benediction, and so we'll go ahead and play that. And you've seen that we gained a bunch of gold and also cleared a bit of the board. And so since we also have 2 Synods on board, we'll be restocking 3 cards, and right now we have a bunch of gold, and so we can grab one of the cards for sure. So right now we'll first of all play the Catapult so that every Benediction we will get will lead to a bigger attacks. So we will play another Catapult. Another, and luckily enough we drew a Benediction, and as I said, first of all play the cards which cycles, and then the other cards. We'll draw another sign to increase the size of our hands, and you see that another Benediction, and it is little, and we were lucky enough to draw it, and so GG. So, as you have seen, this deck is very fast, and if there is a game which goes too long, you can always try to go for the infinite, which is insta-win all the times, if you have only 1 Catapult. And so this deck is very reliable to farm Grandmaster, and it's also very fast, and so for that reason it's a very good choice. So, that's it for this video. Hope you liked it and found it useful. Be sure to leave down below a comment to let me know what you want to see in the next videos, and as always, see ya!